Well, the big moment for The Last of Us Part 2 has finally happened in The Last of Us Season 2 with Episode 2, and we're going to be talking spoilers about how it compares to the game to the show. So let's go into it. So first of all, we have the moment where Abby is running away from infected. Just like the game where you're playing as her and running away, the fence falls on her, and then Joel saves her by taking out the infected, and she meets up with Tommy and Joel. Now in the show, they changed it up so that Dina's with Joel rather than Tommy, which is a really interesting change because Dina was with Ellie that entire time, and they kind of cut out the whole Ellie and Dina scene with them smoking weed in Eugene's place, which I am disappointed. That's a really good scene pushing the relationship forward, so it kind of sucks that they didn't have that in there. But with them leading into Joel's death, they changed up the dialogue a lot as well. Having Abby give off the whole monologue about the hospital, how Joel's a piece of shit, just setting up all these moments about why they're out for revenge. Which in the game, we still don't really know this part. They had it such a mystery about who Abby and them were, why they were going after Joel, and we didn't fully know until much later in the game, which we did get a big reveal where they'd show us that Abby's father was in the hospital. But in the show, they just gave us all this dialogue early on, and that's the one thing I like about the game, is it was a huge mystery about who these people are, what's going on, why am I playing as this character who murders Joel? I'm not a huge fan of how they gave away some of those secrets before we got to that big emotional moment. Now with that, they still had moments that were correlating with the game, like Joel getting blasted in the knee, them using the golf club to murder him, and just having the moments that are straight out of the game, which I thought was fantastic. They did take out a couple things as well, like one of the characters spitting on Joel after they took him out, which really makes you hate that character, and I would have loved keeping that in there because it makes the revenge so much more satisfying. Plus, on top of it, Ellie coming in is just like the game where she comes in, gets knocked down to the ground. However, she gets knocked out during that fight. She says the same dialogue about how she's gonna unalive them. Instead, she gets knocked out. But I really do like the change of her not being knocked out and crawling over to Joel as he's dying in front of her and being able to like be with him when he's passing. Because that's like a good moment that adds more of that emotional impact, and I think Bella Ramsey did a good job with that. Like, the scene was still pretty similar, like still beating on Joel, still doing all the same thing, except he got stabbed instead of clubbed to death. Very interesting where they made these changes, and I do think the Abby monologue was a good change because it just gave a lot more bigger moments that did help push the story forward. The only changes I'm talking about where I'm like, oh, I wish they didn't reveal that right away, was before these moments, where we didn't know who she was. But they already set everything up, knowing that they were going to get the revenge on Joel, so we already knew what was coming, and I do like the surprise when we do get there, and we didn't know it was coming, so I just kind of wish we had that there. For people who've never played the game and just giving us those moments and being having that shock value of, like, what is going on. But overall, a really good episode. Let me know, what did you think about the changes they made around this death, and how do you feel about some of the other things they added during it?